The stock tells a story. It's down more than 5% on the news. But we gave the context. After 2 decades, Daniel Ek is passing on the torch.
Right, and a founder. So that's obviously always going to be big news, and investors always have strong feelings about that. But the way they're portraying this is that it's kind of status quo. They're saying Alex and Gustav have been doing this work essentially since they took over as co-presidents, and that Daniel's kind of the visionary, and he's still going to be very hands-on. That's what they're telling everybody.
But what's not status quo is the world of music and the way in which Spotify is trying to identify new ways of doing audiobooks and trying to galvanize people perhaps around AI development of music and whether or not they want to be paying actual musicians royalties. How will these two leaders navigate that?
That's the big question. I mean, they're portraying this as a huge opportunity, right? AI music, huge new frontier, expanding to new markets that have never really adopted streaming or haven't in the same amount that the US and Europe have. But these are also the big challenges. I mean, there's a world in which if everyone can create their own music, do they need to have a streaming service? So these are the big questions that Spotify and Alex and Gustav are going to have to answer. Can they actually bring the value of AI, get these emerging markets to pay more, and then from a video front, compete with YouTube?
I think it's worth a health check on Spotify generally. Like at the end of 2022, this was a $75, $80 stock. It's now $689. Like clearly something's going right there. I spend quite a lot of time on Spotify. I know Kara does too. They're still dominant in certain categories. Like how do you see them as the beat reporter?
Yeah, no, they absolutely are the biggest music streaming service. So they have owned that category completely. Part of the reason the stock was down at that time was because they had been investing so much money in podcasting.
Spending, yeah.
And the investors didn't like that. Now, in this past year, I mean, they switched to a loss now, but they were profitable for a full year. They showed they can do this. Investors loved that. And so I think they just have this new confidence that they're going to spend their money more wisely and, if necessary, flip the switch to turn to profitability.
Now, that was a big message from Ek himself. I leave it in profitable hands. I leave it on a high, basically. What's he leaving to do? Because he's staying on as chair. He's going to be there for strategy. But he has been active in Founderland, building new companies and new ventures and backing defense ones, health ones.
Exactly. So he didn't really speak about that. He really kept it focused on Spotify. But it does seem like he's going to spend more of his time in his investments, probably focusing on what they're up to. But he is, again, really saying he's going to be involved in the day-to-day with Spotify. He's going to be sharing his office as he does with Alex and Gustav as well.